Right, this is a video for a Honda CR-V. This is a 2-litre EX automatic, 60 plates as you can see here, with 72,386 miles, full service history, and it's just had a brand new MOT placed on the vehicle. Car benefits from a whole host of options totaling well over £5,000. These include, visually, that you can see here at least anyway, obviously the metallic paint, which is absolutely stunning on the car. The dynamic aero pack, which is part and parcel of the front and rear bumper treatment you see on the car, which is totally different from the standard car. Rear spoiler as part of that. Also these big 19-inch magnesium looking alloys. Side steps have been fitted to the car as well, so it's had absolutely tons of stuff. You can completely ignore the roof rack on top, because this one's my wife's car, or was, and once the car is sold, the roof rack will be removed and placed onto our new CR-V that we've just bought. So don't think that comes with the car, because unfortunately it certainly does not. Coming around the car, I mean, it really is a stunning looking car. For, you know, the CR-V is a good looking car, but all these bits, all these extras, just make the car look totally different from anything else on the road. You know, that's why I hunted high and low to try and find the car. So on these dynamic aero packs, you've got this treatment down there around by the fog lights, the chrome strip, deeper air dam, and you come around here. I mean, it's all in fantastic condition as well. There's hardly a stone chip on the car that I can see. There's one or two, but they're minuscule. Lenses are all completely clean. It's just had an MOT with no advisories at all. Panel work is pretty much, I can't see an indentation on this side at all. Front tyres got over 6mm of tread, it's just been checked. You've got a Goodyear Eagle F1 on the front here. Alloys are generally in good condition. A few little curb marks on the outside of the wheel, but nothing that detracts from the car. Wing mirror housing all good. Side step, it's got all its paint intact, it's not been scratched or marked or otherwise. You know, you're going to find the odd minuscule little mark on the car. You know, it is a 70,000 mile car after all. But you know, anyone with any sort of common sense would think this was in wonderful condition. Rear tyre, again, very good make, Dunlop Sport. Alloy, again, generally good with just a few little minor imperfections. And tyres measured at a very conservative 6mm, but probably a damn sight more, to be honest with you. Coming back, you get a really good impression of just how lovely the stance of this car is with all this equipment on it. It looks absolutely superb. So around the back of the car here, again, dynamic aero pack, so you get that little chrome strip, deeper rear bumper treatment. It's all very subtle, but it makes such a difference, as does that high spoiler. You know, if you're comparing it price to price to an ordinary one, feel free to do so, but you'll never buy one like this. This is why people paid over £5,000 to make it look like it. It's done really, really nicely. So near side of the car, again, panel work pretty much as clean as you'll ever see. Dunlop tyre matches the other rear one, and again, exactly the same amount of tread, absolutely tons on it. Alloy, again, very, very good, just the odd little bit of curbing on there. And panel work down the side is an absolutely super order. And finally, Goodyear F1 to match the other front one as well. Lovely sign of ownership. You know, I've just bought a new shaped one, which is a nice looking car. Doesn't drive any better than this, in all honesty. But I have to say, I still prefer the look of this one. I think this is a fabulous looking car, and the colour suits it absolutely perfectly. So coming into the boot area of the car, absolutely massive boot. Just wanted to show you that all the parts that should be in the car are intact. So you've got the tonneau cover on there. You've got this middle shelf here, which I think is a strange idea, but I can see why it suits some people. That just hinges up if you want to. You can remove it completely, which is exactly what I do, and then it recesses. It's shaped to go into there, so it just sits absolutely flat on the floor down there as well. But all the plastics, everything in the back of the car is in really, really, really lovely condition. Coming into the back of the car now, obviously rear door card there. It's got this lovely two-tone finish inside the car, looks absolutely fantastic, and suits the exterior of the car absolutely perfectly as well. As you can see, an absolute ton of rear legroom in the CR-Vs. I've bullied my kids into making sure they keep the car in nice condition in the back. They've done a pretty good job. So there's no kick marks on the back there that I can see on the seat. And then on this one here as well, all in really nice order. Door card on that side has been kept really nice, but it's in lovely condition. These rear seats, by the way, just so you know, these little tabs up here, you can adjust the angles backwards and forwards, more reclined or otherwise. And also underneath here, there's a little bar. If you pull that up, you can put the seats forward a good 6 or 7 inches to extend the rear boot space by, you know, a fairly huge amount actually. So coming to the front of the car now, driver's door card, again all in very nice condition. Just got a few light marks on the plastic here and down here, looks like where sort of rings or bracelets are caught on it slightly, but they're minor and they're very, very light indeed. Sill area is all really good. Obviously the car benefits from an original set of Honda mats on the car. It's the electric adjustable seat on the driver's side here, and the seat itself is in very, very good condition. The bolster's all really good, no marks, no scratches, nothing on there at all. And coming across the passenger one, in equally good condition. It's a really, really lovely car. Just pan up, because obviously part of the EX specification includes this big glass roof, and obviously just press a button there, so on those rare days where the sun comes out you can block it out like that, or on lovely summer days like we've got today, covered in cloud and rain, you just open it up like that. Right, so inside the car now, obviously engine's running as it has been all the way through. Just going to pan around. Obviously the passenger door card, lovely condition again. Dashboard, got its two-tone design, looks really lovely. Just let you know, on these later CR-Vs of this type, up in there you've got a little USB lead there as well, so you can attach iPhones, charge them up and play music from your downloaded music as well. Sounds like I know what I'm talking about, doesn't it? There we go. On here, I'm just going to close the sunroof to set some of the light. Sat-nav system, all fully functional. Obviously pop it into reverse, and then you've got your rear parking camera working exactly as it should as well. But it's a really lovely design. Obviously access to the CD players, just press the button there and it gives you access to the back of it as well. All works absolutely perfectly. Obviously we've been using the car on a very regular basis. Dual zone climate control, pumps out lovely cold air, works absolutely perfectly. Nice, dead simple, easy to use and wonderfully well made. Automatic gear lever, again no wear on it at all. Coming down centre storage areas, and we've got heated seats there, and then obviously low and high, and they work absolutely perfectly, as I know. Now those keys, ignore those, they're for the roof rack above. Coming across, we've got the multifunction steering wheel, so we've got audio top left, cruise top right, hands-free functions and information display further down. And just to pan into the dashboard itself, you can see the engine's running, no warning lights on the car. I've never had an issue with the vehicle, don't ever expect to have either. And you can see 72,386 miles recorded, and say it was actually serviced today, and it was MOT'd a couple of days ago, and it sailed through all that, so it literally is ready to go. But the car in really, really top condition, so you won't fault the car. It's a wonderful vehicle. Right, this is the road test video for a Honda CR-V. This is a 2-litre EX automatic. The car's registered LX60ZHY. Mileage at the start of this brief road test is 72,277 miles. The reason basically we do these road tests now is we're selling to customers from all over the near continent and the UK, the extremes of the UK, and we feel it's right that people are going to come see our cars, that they should see it in operation first, and if there's anything I need to feed back to you on test drive, then I can do so. What I try and do on these test drives is basically do the same as you'll do yourself, and I'll go through it in a sequence of events, or an order for you rather. Just to point out, this is actually my wife's car, and obviously I own the company, and this is the car she's been using, so it's a car that's very, very well known to us. So basically the car's been very well looked after mechanically. It'll be going through an independent MOT prior to sale as well. But just starting with the mechanicals of the car. Engine first, obviously 2-litre VTEC Honda engine. Engine starts absolutely first turn of the key, idles pretty much silently, very smooth idle, there's no hunting, and there's no noises that shouldn't be there at all. Very, very sweet revving engines, always have been, always will be. Obviously a chain driven engine, so there's no cam belts to worry about in terms of kind of future maintenance or otherwise of the vehicle, because normally around about this kind of mileage you find a lot of other manufacturers will require quite expensive cam belts and tensioners and all sorts of stuff to be done, where there's no requirement for it on this engine. The engine said it pulls really well, because this is the facelift model, the 2010 onwards car. They've given it extra sound deadening, so it's a slightly quieter companion than the earlier versions. So in essence, the engine utterly faultless. Goes through this automatic gearbox, full automatic, really lovely gearbox. Very typical Honda actually. It's got a lovely mechanical feel about the gear changes, very kind of oily in the way they kind of go about their gear change. Quite quick changing for an auto, but does it very smoothly. There's no strange noises with the box either. Again, when you put it into gear, there's no clonks or bangs or anything like that shouldn't be there. Pull away a little bit sharpish, just to show you there. Just very, very sweet revving engine. This is, I wouldn't push it normally quite as hard as that just to show you it in operation, but really very smooth. As I'm driving along at any kind of speed, also listening out for kind of wind noises that shouldn't be there, where you might have a poorly fitted windscreen or a sunroof or something like that, or a perisil on a window, but there's no wind intrusion that shouldn't be there. It's a very, very refined car actually. Likewise at speed as well, track's absolutely bullet straight. There's no vibration coming back to the steering wheel, which is a pet hate of mine. If there's anything like that, I get it attended to straight away. But there's nothing there at all. It's very, very, very smooth. There's not even a hint of wear in the steering of the car. It turns in with real accuracy, precision. There's, again, sometimes on cars with a few miles on, they'll be fine, they'll be safe, but they just feel a little bit loose and a bit tired. Whereas this steering feels exactly the same as some of the very low mileage ones I've had in the past. It's a beautifully, beautifully engineered car. Likewise, the suspension of the car, again, exhibits no noises that shouldn't be there. You'll hear it go over bumps like that. But again, what I'm trying to listen out for is kind of those telltale little sort of rattles and bangs underneath, which quite often you get what they call these little anti-roll bar links chattering away, and they're quite annoying. But they're designed to wear as a kind of a weak point on the car. But there's nothing at all on it. It's the suspension of the car is in a fantastic condition. Rides really, really well for this type of car. But what it also does, it allows it's a really good compromise between comfort and basically a car that doesn't sort of roll and keel over through the corners. The extremes of that, and I've said on previous videos, you get some manufacturers who they're very soft, and initially they're very comfortable, but by the time you've done 100 miles in it with the kids at the back, they can, if they've got iron stomachs, they'll keep it in, but otherwise it'd be quite a mess. The other extreme is things like BMW X1, X3. Again, it's kind of my pet hate. I had one which I loved the look of the car. I thought it was a grand looking car, and it drove well up to a point, but its ride was absolutely atrocious on anything other than this sort of surface in front. A roads and motorways it was fine, B roads and city centres it was awful, way too hard. CR-V manages to combine the best of both really. It's got really good body control. The steering's accurate. It's not a sports car, but it's far better than most. But it's comfortable as well. You can do huge mileages, and I've had absolutely loads of CR-Vs. So they just fit what me and my family need absolutely perfectly. Brakes on the car, again, pedals really good. There's no pulsing or vibrations coming back up through the brake pedal at all. So that it's a very, very fine order. So I wouldn't put my family's life at risk, obviously, for anything. But and obviously the MOT will pick up on anything if it needs to be. Well, I'm sat in the car here just to go through. I mean, obviously this is the slightly later dashboard which you got on the facelifted models. I love the interior on this one. It's got this two-tone interior, which looks a lot better in the flesh than it does in pictures, I must admit. But it really does brighten up the interior. I mean, most CR-Vs I've had, you know, nearly always black interiors, but this really does complement the outside. But it's a really warm interior in terms of its colouring, and they've done a really nice job on it. Other things to note on these later ones, in here you've got a little USB lead in the top there, so you can charge your phones or plug in a USB into it, play your music out through the stereo itself. Obviously big screen sat nav on the EX versions. Obviously pop it into reverse, that becomes a parking camera, which is absolutely brilliant. Press that button there, opens, and it gives access to the CD player behind it as well, but it's all fully functional. Down below here got the climate control buttons, all in fantastic order. Air conditioning is ice cold. I mean, it's a hot, sticky, humid night tonight, so on the verge of thunderstorms I think, but that is lovely and ice and cold that's coming out of there. But it's all really beautifully manufactured, but there's no marks on the dashboard at all. Coming to the dashboard itself, no warning lights on the car at all. The temperature gauge is about 1/3, which is exactly where it wants to be on a Honda car. All the information display is perfectly presented, no pixelation. The glass or perspex that goes through to the dials is completely clear. There's no scratching or marks on there at all. You know, it's a lovely dashboard, very simple to simulate the information. They do a really lovely job on it. You've got auto lights, auto wipers on the car, and on the steering wheel. Obviously they get quite busy these days, but it's not as bad as most. It's a multifunction steering wheel. So top left here we've got the audio controls, top right cruise control, bottom right you've got information displays, you can scroll through different menus on the dashboard there, and on the bottom left here you've got your voice activation system and Bluetooth. That all works perfectly. I've got my phone paired to it, so I know it works exactly as it should. Cruise control works absolutely fine. I'll just show you, if I can just make sure nothing's going the other way. Cruise and set, feet off there, and I can accelerate, slow down using that. It all works exactly as it should. In fact, every button anyone will press in the car, everything works exactly as it should. It really does drive absolutely beautifully. They're really lovely cars. Don't think there's a rattle in the back, by the way. That's a heater. We'll take it to the tip, so that's vibrating at the back. I apologise for that. They are beautifully built cars. You know, I changed them for tax reasons after a few months, which, you know, I have to do. There's no reason for me wanting to get rid of the car. I'll have to, because I'll be buying another one exactly the same. The car drives fantastically well. I'll put a warranty on it, because, you know, I've got no issues. All my cars that I've sold, I've gone to homes and people have been chuffed to bits with them, because, you know, this is a car I'm using on a daily basis, so you know it's going to be good. But if there's anything I've missed on this road test, you know, finally, sorry, do forget, four-wheel drive system on the car. It's what they call intelligent four-wheel drive, or real-time four-wheel drive. Basically, it's brilliant. Most of the time, most people drive like this, so it just runs in front-wheel drive, as most modern cars will, as opposed to a lot of its competitors who run permanent four-wheel drive. This minimises, with front-wheel drive only, you're minimising fuel losses, you're minimising tyre wear, you know, component wear, mechanical wear, you know, because it doesn't need to be run the whole time. Only when it needs to activate, it does it all for you automatically. On a sort of slippy, greasy road or an icy road, front wheels start to lose grip, and it brings it in automatically for you. And we've sold well over 1,000 CR-Vs, and we've not had one problem with any of them. So it's a testament to just how well they're manufactured. So anyway, that brings the video to the end. So I hope it's been of help, but do give us a call if I've missed out on anything.